Do you remember the first time you met her? That adrenaline rush, those butterflies, that sense of time standing still every time she walked into the room. Fast forward a few years, or more than a few, and things have changed. The familiarity of routine has set in. The flame that could have once burned so brightly may perhaps seem like it's being extinguished. But in long-term love, things are not about maintaining that very same flame in the same place. That's more about learning new ways to rekindle the flames. I've spent years talking with couples who've been together for decades, and there's a pattern among those who still look at each other with that special gleam in their eyes. They've mastered the art of falling in love with the same person over and over again. And yes, it is an art, one that takes intention, creativity, and genuine effort. So how do you make her fall for you again after years together? How do you recapture that magic without trying to recreate the past? Let's dive into what actually works and what definitely doesn't. Forget big acts and dramatic professions of love, at least as your top tactic. Surprise weekend trips and pricey presents are great, but they are not what maintains connection. It is in the little things, the everyday contact that indicates to her you're still selecting her, still noticing her, still finding joy in who she is. Most men fall into the trap of believing that they have to transform into a completely different person in order to regain their partner's attention. The reality is much more straightforward and much more challenging at the same time. You must be more truly yourself, but also develop into your best self. Contradictory? Let me clarify. When your relationships lose that fire, it's usually because you or both have ceased growing. You've grown complacent, too complacent. You've lost touch with what first captivated your partner. Remember how you once spent hours on the phone, pouring your hearts out to each other, listening to her vision for the future, the assurance with which you carried yourself and made her feel both secure and aroused. That same confidence and attention are still present in you. They merely require a brushing off. Begin by reconnecting with yourself. What hobbies have you let fall by the wayside? What friendships have you lost touch with? What aspects of yourself have you set aside in order to be a partner, a provider, a parent? Reconnecting these parts of your identity isn't selfish, it's necessary. Women are drawn to men who have their own lives, interests, and sense of purpose. Your relationship shouldn't be the sole source of your fulfillment, and she shouldn't be your sole emotional outlet. Talking about emotional connection, let's discuss vulnerability. Most men shut down emotionally as relationships deepen. They no longer share their fears, hopes, and dreams. They become problem solvers instead of partners. But emotional intimacy is the foundation of romantic connection. When did you last truly open up to her? Not about your day or your thoughts on current events, but about what moves you, what frightens you, what you're working towards. This weakness provides room for her to return to you at a deeper level. It recalls for her that you trust her with your interior world, and that nothing is as seductive as being trusted to this extent by someone. Now the physical. Physical intimacy dissolves in long-term relationships and not always in the bedroom. How long has it been since you've taken her hand for a walk down the street? Danced with her in the kitchen? Kissed her because you felt like it? These tiny physical gestures are crucial. They express desire and appreciation in a way words can't really match. But here's the important thing. Physical reconnection begins outside the bedroom. It's about creating a foundation of touch, play, and non-sexual affection that makes both of you feel wanted and valued. Kiss her good morning like you mean it. Hold her a little longer when she comes home. Physical chemistry doesn't just go away, just gets buried under routine and neglect. Now, regarding those habits, they're relationship killers if you allow them to be. The human brain loves novelty. It's hardwired into our reward systems. This doesn't imply that you need to totally revolutionize your life together, but instead bring in some surprise and discovery. Try to take her somewhere she's never been for dinner without letting her know where you're headed. Wake up early on a Saturday morning and bring her coffee in bed. Learn something new together, a dance class, a cooking method, a language. These experiences build new neural pathways in your brains, literally rewiring the way you look at each other. Another strong strategy is rediscovering curiosity about one another. Years later, we tend to feel like we know everything about our partners. We don't ask questions anymore. We complete sentences for them. We assume things. This is a huge error. Human beings evolve. Her dreams, fears, desires, and outlooks have probably changed since you met her. Have you stayed current? Do you know what she's excited about these days? What's giving her insomnia? What she's proud of? What she wishes she could do more of? Ask her, not interrogatively, but in the moments of intimacy. Express a genuine interest in her inner world. There is nothing that makes a woman feel more appreciated than having her partner genuinely curious about who she is today, rather than who she used to be when you fell in love with her. This leads me to another very important point: appreciation. With time, we begin to take our partners for granted. What once astonished us about them becomes the norm. Their quirks, which were once charming, become annoyances. This change in attitude is poison to romance. Consciously pay attention to what she adds to your life. Say thank you in earnest, not for the grand gestures like helping you advance in your career or bringing up your children, but for the little things every day that improve your life. Thank her exactly, not vaguely. Thanks for never forgetting my mother's birthday resonates more than thanks for all that you do. Now, let's discuss something that may be uncomfortable: listening to her truth. If your relationship has fizzled, there's a good chance she's been attempting to communicate what she needs, either directly or indirectly, for some time. Are you listening? Truly listening? Make room for her to communicate her needs without judgment or defensiveness. Ask her what would make her feel more connected, more valued, more wanted, and then take that seriously. This is not about being subservient. It's about partnership. Her fulfillment and joy are important not only for her own sake, but for the well-being of your relationship. Another dimension to examine is that of support for her growth. Is she following her own passions and goals? Are you making space for her to learn, evolve, and change as an individual? Are you her cheerleader or her constraint? Women frequently struggle between their relationships and their self-making. Demonstrate to her that she does not have to make a choice. Support her aspirations. Do more work around the house so she can take that course or begin that business venture. Your encouragement of her autonomy will make your connection stronger, not weaker. Laughter is another aspect that tends to wither in long relationships. Life becomes serious. Duties accumulate. Playfulness takes a back seat. But laughter makes for strong connections. Can you recall what tickled her funny bone when you met? What were your inside jokes? Revisit that carefree side of your relationship. Send her silly texts throughout the day. Highlight the silliness of life. Be open to laughing at yourself. This lightheartedness balances out the sure-to-come heaviness of life's obstacles and reminds the two of you why you like each other. Don't forget the strength of unplugged time. So many couples now sit in the same room but in different virtual places. Your TVs, tablets, and phones are vying for the attention that could be devoted to each other. Establish some tech-free moments, perhaps dinner, or the first hour of coming home from work, or Sunday mornings. Spend this time truly looking at each other, connecting without interruption. Now for a tough truth. Sometimes winning her over again means fixing things you've been putting off. Perhaps there is unfinished conflict that has bred distance. Perhaps trust has been breached. Perhaps there are patterns of engagement that both of you end up feeling invisible or unheard. These underlying problems aren't going to fix themselves, and no number of date nights or romantic gestures will make up for them. If this sounds familiar, ask yourself if working with a professional might be what you need to work through these issues. A skilled relationship therapist can give you both the tools and the eyes to break old patterns and create new patterns of connection. Through all this, patience is crucial, as the disconnection didn't occur overnight, so the reconnection won't occur. There'll be frustration points, setbacks, days when you think nothing is shifting. Normal. Change, genuine change, takes time and consistency. Just keep showing up. Keep trying. Keep communicating. The payoff, a relationship not just endured but grown to something richer, deeper than at the beginning, is well worth it. Keep in mind, it's not tactics or techniques for getting her to fall in love with you again. It's more about being your best self and leaving open space for her to be hers. It's about growing together rather than apart. It's about choosing each other day after day with intention and gratitude. The loveliest thing about long love is not the initial flush of passion. It's the depth gained through truly knowing another human and being known in return. It is the security of having someone to witness your life, one who has walked through your worst and still manages to choose you at your best. It is creating something together that's more than what either of you can do individually. So yes, you can get her to fall in love again after all these years together. Not by reimagining yourself as someone different, but by getting back to the person she fell in love with and embracing who both of you have become. The result is not a replication of your first romance. It's deeper, more nuanced, and ultimately more satisfying. The journey of rekindling love isn't always easy, but few things in life are more worth the effort. Start today with one small step. Listen a little more deeply. Appreciate a little more specifically. Touch a little more intentionally. The spark is still there, it just needs your attention to grow back into the flame it once was.